right. Welcome to the post game. Coach Moore, what was you saying? I'm gonna turn it down.
Man,
Let you talk about that.
man, this looks so eerie. Like when the Cowboys won their first Super Bowl under David Johnson, and I don't think people remember that Troy Aikman was hurt in that season. We used a backup quarterback for a stint there, and we played great defense. We won games just like the special teams, the defense, and a couple of big plays on offense. And we won a Super Bowl, fellas.
Yeah.
It looks so eerie, just like this, and we had juggernauts in the division too. We had juggernauts in our division, but we were winning games the right way: defense, special teams, and making some big plays. Hey, that's all you got to do to win in the NFL.
Yeah, these were definitely complete wins. I'm seeing complete wins. What's on your mind, Amp, as we're getting ready to kind of start this post game thoughts?
Man, look, I don't care if it's pretty, ugly, funny looking, smells a little sour. A dub is a dub at the end of the day, and I'll take it. Should we clean some things up? Absolutely. But guess what? It's a long season. We're going to be all right.
Yeah, we will be all right, and we more than all right to me. Just seeing that these are team wins, man. But y'all kind of y'all sit back, man. We getting ready to kick it off. Let me set up this plane real quick. I'll be right back. True vibes in the house. Hurt from yelling. Oh, really? Douglas, what's up? What's up, man?
Got the pastor in here on a Sunday.
You don't win 4 games in a row with your backup, man. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. And we are doing that thing. Yeah, man. So welcome to the post-game recap. Yeah, with Coach Marv and Amp, and the OC will be coming in a little bit later. What was you saying, Coach? It was that business.
And we won on a 4-game win streak and beat the 2 Super Bowl teams from last year.
Right on, Coach. Right on, Coach. Right on. True Vibe say for real, boss. I know you for real. That's what's funny. Yeah, man. This is a good guy.
Did somebody say this was the hardest part of our schedule?
Yep.
I can't tell.
I can't tell either.
Boy, you see, look at Dan Quinn, man. Dan Quinn reading all his boys when they come out with a fist bump and the hug, man. Man, Dan Quinn, how many things, man? The boys connected to Dan Quinn, man.
Quintessential Quinn.
Yeah, man. Quintessential.
Y'all don't mind me. That's just a little. I'm just getting my ice together for this Kool-Aid.
Let's go, man. Let's drink up. Let's drink up, big dog. All right, man. We starting the post-game show, man, with Boss Cowboy Sports, Amp and Coach Marv, man. So y'all come on in. My boy Montana say Dallas defense 4-0.
Really, they 5-0 if you want to be technical about it.
Ooh-wee. So
they put you in a position to be able to actually win in week 1, but we just couldn't muster up no points.
All right, man. So let's kind of kick it off, bro. So obviously, we know we got to put together a show real quick. So we go start it off with one of the biggest keys, and then Mickey say, "Boss Cowboy, happy to catch y'all, fam. Hey, man, thank you for catching up with us at the post game, Mickey. It ain't the same without you, sister.
Mickey,
you know what I'm saying? And be careful out there with that mail. Make sure you keep plenty of mace and a big old stick for one of them old silly dogs. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure nobody bite your calf muscle. So, but obviously we talked about some big keys, and Coach Marv, he laid out some of his coaching keys as a marker and a benchmarker to know if we on track. So I'm gonna show it real quick. Uh, Here it is. This is the offense. Okay. One of the things is to keep teams number three. All right. And we've been doing this since game one to just make sure are we hitting our benchmarks and team benchmarks that we see on this channels as keys to winning. So number three, he said 130 or more rushing yards. No, I'm sorry. That's the offense. The defense. Let me go to the defense. So on the defense, the goal of our defense to win games is to keep teams 85 or less on rushing. Well, today, Amp, what was the number?
38 total yards rushing.
So today we kept them under 40 yards rushing. So let's just kind of talk about that in terms of the defense and their effort in keeping that pivotal benchmark and what that did in terms of flow of the game. So I'm gonna start with you, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, with our great pass that we have, if we can limit the run, we can limit the run, and where teams cannot be confident, we keep them under 100 yards or under the 85 yards, or great that they under 40 yards. Now we earn the right to hunt the quarterback, and we got hunters. We got the best pass rush in the NFL. If it's control the run and stop the run, that earns the defensive line the right to hunt the quarterback, and then Dan Quinn to throw all his crazy matchups and match up with them and get pressure on the quarterback. So that's a very big key in our defense of doing that first thing of keeping teams under 85 yards rushing.
And what's your thoughts on that, Amp?
I totally agree. Like Coach says, when you shut down that run, you put that team in third and long situations, and your D line is able to pin their ears back. You give an alley oop to your defense to do what they do best, and that's rush the passer. And it was clearly evident today with having 5 sacks. Micah accounted for 1. Everybody got in. It was a play. It was a play at the quarterback. We actually should have had more. But credit to the Rams, and Sean McVay, they schemed a really good game, to get the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hand fairly quickly. But at the end of the day, your defense is the unsung heroes of this game because they put us in a great position to start off. They spotted your offense 2 scores, and then they pin their ears back and do what they do best. So shouts out to them. Shouts out to Dan Quinn for doing what he continues to do to make the best out of what we have. And going forward, we're going to have to continue to lean on our defense if we're going to have a chance going forward to make this push for the playoffs.
Right. And to me, let me ask y'all a question because one of the key things with this under 40 yards rushing, and I was predicting at the end that we was going to close out these games with sacks, and we did. But that happened because obviously we got ahead of them and they couldn't run the ball at all, which made them abandon the run and then open us up for our killers to be able to finally get to them late. But what does that say about our team and our defense, or just team? I don't care how y'all talk about it, but I just want to hear from both of y'all, and then I'll get my thoughts on it. That we did what we did on this team, right, without Quentin Bohanna. Now, we already knew they wasn't a strong running team to begin with, especially on paper and by the metrics. But what does that say for us to be able to do what we're doing on defense and stopping the run without Quentin? I'm gonna start with
honestly.
I'm gonna start with Amp.
Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm glad you did that, because as I was thinking about the last point that I made, what we witnessed this game is we actually turned one of our weaknesses into a strength. We were leading the league as far as rushing rushes 10 plus yards down the field. You didn't see any of that today. They clamped down when they needed to. Guys were swarming to the ball. You saw gang tackling. We balled them up instead of letting them get out and get loose in space and making big plays. Honestly, I can actually only recall maybe a handful of plays that actually went downfield for big yardage. Kudos to them for keeping that potentially explosive offense bottled up and doing what we have to do to negate the explosiveness of that offense.
Man, I see a lot of people in here trying to get me to eat crow, dog. Listen, I ain't eating no crow, bro. No, I'm not. My boy Michael Autry said, "Boss, with a super chat, he said you eat crow," and then Marquetta say, "Listen, I'm not eating no crow on being taken out of context." I'm gonna say that one more
His
time.
take on Armstrong was measured.
It was measured, yeah.
Very measured.
Because this is what happened on the final word. People kept trying to make it seem like I was saying that he wasn't a good player. What I was saying was not all sacks are the same. I was very specific. And Coach Moore did not say that Armstrong would get down better in the 3-tech. That's exactly what I said. And what did he do? And where did his sacks come from?
In the 3-tech, and his pressures in the 3-tech.
So why would I eat crow? Why?
No,
why?
You know something? But getting back to your thing, what that tells you about this team, boss. What it tells me about this team when we stopped the team and even this piggybacks of what you were saying, boss, about what you were talking about Armstrong. It tells us that this team is very, very talented on defense. That when we lose people, I think our defensive coaches got a thing in their mind that they know what they need to do to be successful and get better. I go back to Dan Quinn when every press conference he comes up with since week 1. He says, "What now? What and what and then what?"
Yeah,
that's what he's saying. He's saying, what we did, okay, we see, okay, now what we need to do and what we're gonna do later on. How we need to improve every week to get better as a defense, and what we need to do to focus in on our game plan to be a dominant defense and be able to match anybody's style of play and be able to get that team to get their offense into the game plan that we want them in as a pass, and we can go hunt the quarterback and turn this thing up and get turnovers and shut the teams down. So this tells us that our team is all bought in from the defensive end to know their identity. They know their identity. They know what is good for them. They know what they need to do to teams to make them get into the game plan where they can be successful and attack. So they understand that we got to stop the run first and shut that off. So you have to get into that pass bowl, and now we're going to hunt. And we can hunt from the 3-tech, the 5, wherever we want to hunt you from, we can. But we know what we have to do to get you into that game plan that makes us best. So they know, they understand that, and that's why I say that they come in every game and they're unified. And I think the coaching staff on the defensive end has gotten to this team and to let them know what their identity is, and they play to that, and they know what they need to do to get to the things they want to do.
Hold on real quick. This dude right here say Dallas Cowboy hard. He say Boss don't like to own what he said. I tell you what, big dog. I tell you what. If you go back to the final word and you hear me talking bad about Armstrong, I give you $100. But if you go back to the tape and you hear me say Armstrong is good, but sacks are not sacks, then you owe me $100. Are you willing to put some money on that, big dog? On what I said? Cause you calling me out in front of everybody. You calling me out. You put my name out there like I don't have integrity on what I say. So if let's make a bet right now on what I said on Armstrong. So now it's people out there that's playing, but when you say stuff like this openly, I want you to put your money with it. Are you willing to put your money with it, or will you just disappear and we won't hear from you again? So I say put your money up on what I said. How about that? And anybody else want to do it? Yeah, anybody else want to do it? Yeah, because I'm not defending or eating crow on what I didn't say. I'm just not doing that. I'm sorry. He's like, I want y'all subscriptions, but I ain't gonna kiss y'all ass. I'm never gonna do that. I'm just not gonna do
But
that,
boss,
dog. I'm sorry.
boss,
And
you know
I got
something?
too long a history of admitting openly when I've been wrong, bro, to even be categorized like that. I got too long a history of coming out publicly saying over and over and doing E-Crow shows. Who else do an
That's
E-Crow
right.
show?
I
Who
was about
else
to
have you
mention
ever
that.
seen do a show where they was wrong to the point where they did a whole show on themselves and eating the whole crow? Ain't nobody else doing that, dog.
That's
So let's
right.
go. So anyway, get my name right, big dog. But anyway, going
Boss,
back
can you
to
do one quick thing, boss?
yeah,
I know you pulled the defensive keys up there. If you pull them up again,
yeah,
and
right here.
I just want to show you that we pick it back. When you do number one, right? And
Mm-hmm.
number one and number two is you got to do number one and two together because that's one where you stop the run by being very good tacklers.
Yeah.
When you do number one and number two, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for this team to get the rest of those.
Yeah. Right.
The rest, you set the table for the rest of the 15 less than 15-yard plays, the 10 hits, the 3 sacks, the more one turnovers, and 21 or less points. When you do number one and two, it sets the table for the rest of them to get where you get the rest of your goals.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
only team that we didn't do number one and two was when we did the first game. We had a problem with tackling,
Yep.
and we gave up too many rushing yards, and we didn't get the rest of these goals. But ever since then, we limit the rush. We had some long runs here and there, but we limit the rush. We get these goals.
Let's go ahead and talk about this real quick too. This wasn't on the agenda, but we gonna talk about it. Cooper Rush versus Dak. Let's talk about it for real. I'm serious about this too.
Ooh,
And I ain't
yeah,
getting on
messy.
nobody, but we know that's gonna be a talking point this week. It's gonna be the biggest talking point this week, especially on the mainstream media. It's gonna also be a major talking point on local media on do you start Dak Prescott versus Philly, or when do you start Dak Prescott and who's better? So I'm gonna kick this to you first, Coach Marv. I'm gonna let you tackle it, then you Amp, and then me, because obviously that's gonna be a big talking point. I want us on record first. You got it, Coach.
Okay, I want to take us back a little bit, and this is the perfect example. And I think I mentioned this in the open. There was a quarterback named Troy Aikman before he won any Super Bowls. When we was an up and coming team to win a Super Bowl, he got hurt in that beginning of that Super Bowl year, and we had a backup quarterback to come in and play 3 or 4 games and win us some games. And we went on, and Troy came back. I think off a string or a knee, and we came back and we won the Super Bowl. And this is before Troy Aikman won Super Bowl, so we couldn't say he was a Super Bowl winning quarterback at that particular time. And he hadn't had a great history of winning, but we knew he was the main quarterback. But we learned how to win games and learned how to take the pressure off of him. And he learned that the pressure was not on him, that he had a complete team. And when he came back, our offense got better, our leader was back, and we went on a run and won the Super Bowl. This is what we're finding out with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is just managing and holding the fort down. And we know with this defense, we're going to need our offense to be a little bit more explosive. And if we get the play that we've been getting from Dak his whole career without having this type of defense, imagine what type of team we're going to be when Dak comes back and understands that it's not all on him. It's not that much pressure, but he's going to make more plays than Cooper Rush, and he's going to unleash a defense, and we can still keep the same philosophy, and we'll be a team. Cooper Rush does not make this team better. Dak will make this team better. So this is the thing, we should not worry about this, because we have a guy in Cooper Rush that's throwing for less than 62% of completion in all the games he played, right? And he's averaging less than 200, a little bit at middle of 200 yards of passing. He almost just had a 100-yard day. But the team is winning. And this team plays well with Dak Prescott. We are Super Bowl contenders. So let's take care of our own. And we're not Cooper Rush is not putting up Hall of Fame numbers or numbers like what's the guy a guy that stepped in and he was throwing 300-yard games and 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, and we can say, okay, man, this guy's really hot. He's doing well, and he understands his role on this team. So when Dak gets healthy, I want to see him come back when he's fully healthy, not halfway healthy, fully healthy, and let's roll.
And then I asked another question, Coach, that you got to address. And shout out to my boy Paul for remembering that it was Steve Berline, because it was Steve Berline.
That's right.
I like that. That was Steve Berline who went on that run. And matter of fact, he created a quarterback controversy. He did, because he's the one that led us to the playoffs when Troy Aikman got hurt. So shout out. I love to see when our fans remember their history like that. But real quick, Coach, when do you bring Dak back? That is the question.
You bring now what I would want Dak to do. Dak would have to give me 2 weeks of full practice before he comes back. So that means if he could come back this week and he getting second team reps and amp up the first team reps, I need to see him throw the ball for 2 weeks. So I know that hand is strong, not just for throwing the ball, for protection of the football. The ball doesn't fumble. He can take underneath snaps, all those little small things, so we don't have those hiccups. And then I need him to get back in rhythm with this team. He's been out of quarterbacking for 5 weeks. He's not going to just pick it back up and rhythm, because he wasn't in rhythm really in the week 1 of this regular season, because he didn't get in the time in preseason. So 2 weeks. So if that means you go into Philadelphia with Cooper Rush, that's fine. And that means you get the next week. I think we may have a bye. I think out in Philadelphia, don't we?
I gotta check, Coach. So you say 2 weeks. So your answer is 2 weeks. I don't want to take too long to get to L, because I want to hear from both of y'all on this. I like that. So L just disappeared, because that's the question. That's the key question right there. L just disappeared. So let me take his category real quick. Hey, I'm still waiting on somebody who want to bet me too on what I said on Armstrong. Now I see a lot of people disappeared. And my boy say Law said to tell y'all. Law said to say I need to eat crow. I'm gonna address that when I see him. And y'all already know I'm going right at Law on that. Y'all got me messed up. I'm not defending or eating crow on what I did not say. I'm never gonna do that. But anyway. But my answer is Dak need to come back when he ready. And every time we win, the longer I'm willing to wait. I don't want nothing at all rushed on Dak. I don't want to say a week or 2 of practice. And I feel Coach logic on that. I'm not fighting his logic on that. I just, whenever he's ready. Because I think even the bottom of Dak is better than the top of Cooper Rush. Because see, if you look at it just keeping it real, on just the realness. When we had this exact same run philosophy with Dak, Dak was the leading MVP candidate. This was just last year when we was 6-1, and it was a deeper, longer run than what Cooper Rush is doing right now. But it was also a better quality of run in terms of the efficiency of the offense with Dak. The difference was we was running the ball when we was 6-1. So, yes, and it's just whenever he is ready. And the good thing about Cooper Rush winning, and the more he's the quarterback as we win games, the more you don't have to rush Dak. Take your sweet time and allow your quarterback to come back healthy. That's the most important thing. Now, it's going to be some real silly controversy. I promise you that. I promise it's going to be all week, a bunch of talk on you don't get rid of the hot hand. Listen, this is not a hot hand. What was his numbers, Amp? What did Cooper Rush do numerically today?
Numerically today, Cooper Rush gave you a whopping 102 yards in the passing game, 15 attempts for 102 yards.
How many
Yeah.
completions?
Yeah, how many? What's his completion percentage?
Tell you right box score. Excuse me, he was 10 of 16 for 102 yards.
10 or 16. So what's
He
that about
completed
60?
10 passes.
60. See, Mickey, look at Mickey crazy. Look at me. Look at me. Say I can't say listen. Mickey heard them numbers. Wait. Wait, that is not a hot hand. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop, man. So listen, if y'all fall for it being a QB controversy, that's on you. But what's your thoughts, Al? What's up, man? What's going
To
on?
have the hot hand, right?
Yeah.
You at least got to throw for a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
He didn't throw for any touchdown passes. And then you couple that with the fact that he just scraped 100 yards passing. And most quarterbacks in the league are going to get you 100 yards within the first quarter or first half. That's a bit far from hot hand. Hot hand, if you're talking about turning around and handing the ball off and running the damn ball like we've been talking about.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's a weak attempt at a stretch, But I'm pleased at the fact that we were, despite the lack of creativity, we're committed to the run. We rushed the ball 30 times, 34 if you include the times that Rush took off running. But look at here, like you said, piggybacking off of what Coach Marv said and what Boss said. With Rush, there is no rush.
There's no rush. Yeah, take your time. Take your time with that. Like, obviously I want us to be Philly, but man, the bigger thing is letting Dak come back. Right. That's the biggest thing. I want to knock Philly off their high horse more than anybody. But it's about Dak coming back right. Now, I want to talk about also real quick. You guys play the game so far. I'm not holding nobody to it. And matter of fact, in the chat, put who do y'all think y'all player of the game is. Now, it's hard to have a player of the game on a game like this because this is a team win. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? With a team win, it's hard to just identify one guy. But who would be y'all guy?
It ain't hard, boss. It ain't
Say,
hard.
hold on. Somebody say that hand is lukewarm. That's just go ahead though. God,
as much, as much as I agree with you, because you had a great effort from everybody across the board. It took a lot of individuals working collectively together to help us pull off this W. Honestly, if you take away the two plays from Dorrance Armstrong, this is a different game. Those two plays, despite all the other plays that people made throughout the game, those two plays single-handedly are plays of the game. I got to give it to him because single-handedly, he helped spot us 9 points. Quick question. What was the final score? 22-10, right? We won by 12.
Yep.
That's your ball game right there, just off of those two plays. Because other than that, we talking about bringing it down to the wire. We talking about possibly the Rams having the ball with a chance to win at the end, or we're trusting Kellen Moore to hold or keep away with even more at stake, with even a closer game than what we had. Do you trust him to do that?
No.
Do you trust Mike McCarthy to be able to pull him back and say, hey, this is what we need to do?
No.
No. So it's a much closer game than we would like. It's much, much, much too close for comfort. And if you don't have that cushion from the plays presented by Dorrance Armstrong, this is a totally different ball game. And I don't know if we pull it out. Shout out to Dorrance.
I got
Qualified
okay.
case.
That's a great case, and I have I have to go with your case, but I'm going. I'm not going to pick.
Who's the close second, Coach? Who's the close second?
Man, wait. Can my man answer his own question? God, dog.
Yeah, Dorrance Armstrong, great plays, and we wouldn't have won this game without those plays. But my player of the game, and it should have been the player of the game for these 4 weeks, is the special teams play. Because based off of how our offense gets bogged down, it is very important that every time you send a field goal kicker out there, he gets you point. It is very crucial. And when we get this guy gets a return yards, when he does return the ball, he puts us in position where we don't have to do a couple of plays and we can score. And it is great when you can block field goals and block punts to get your team points. These special teams have dominated every game. And in the 3 phases of football, we are dominating special teams, which take a lot of pressure off Cooper Rush for being, if we just break even with the offense and our defense dominate, that we win 2 out of the 3, and that's why we get victories. This special teams, every time that they go out to kick a field goal, I don't care if it's 50, 40, when we get in that thing, we can always count on our guy to go and make a great kick. We can always count on our punter to get us out of trouble. And we can always
know about
count
that punter, coach.
Well, in some games he had a missed punt here, but he's still averaging, because when he does kick, we can always count on our gunners like
Getting
down there.
Kelvin
So all this
Joseph.
is part of the special team.
They balling.
So we can depend on our special teams to win every game and win when the special teams get the other special teams, we are dominating. We are making teams scared to punt. We have had a lot of almost blocks. Listen, the special teams are definitely the key factor, and a lot of people don't talk about them, but I can guarantee you, teams are preparing for our special teams, and they're fearful of them. And Dorrance Armstrong has always been a great special teams player. Not only he's doing it on the defensive line, but he's doing it in other areas. You really don't have, listen, and the boss, I want to say this. Dorrance Armstrong is a rare breed. You don't get defensive linemen that be that great on special teams.
Ever.
Right.
Like ever. Like, I can't think of one.
That's a different breed. And for him to have the willingness to play special teams. But you know why he can have the willingness to play special teams? Go back to what I said before. How much talent we got on this team. Because guys know that they don't have to play snap on the defensive side, because we got a multitude of guys that can come in and do jobs. So that keeps guys fresh to give all effort on special teams and do things. So yes, Dorrance Armstrong, but please, people, my player of the game is the special teams unit. They have been doing an excellent job in this winning streak.
So you really saying Coach Foster? That's what you saying? You saying
yeah,
Coach
Foster?
Foster.
He been listen. His guys have been on point. They hadn't cost us anything, and they have made plays in blocking field goals, blocking punts, good return yards, hitting field goals, gunners going down, making plays. They have done a great job.
I'm also proud of Boss Man Fat. I'm glad you brought that up, and my boy Tariq brought that up too. Boss Man Fat is doing his thing on special teams, man. Like, for everybody that question, does he love football because he's a rapper? You know what I mean? No, it's how you play on special teams that determine if you feel me, Elp? It's how you play on special teams that let me know if you love football. Because if you can turn up when you got one play to turn up, then you trying to make your presence felt. And we all got to take our hat off to Mr. Kelvin Josephs on special teams. Like, for real talk. Like, he keep playing like that, he go earn himself on the field. Some kind of way, you got to make room for good special teams players. Now
He's paying his dues, boss. He's paying his
he
dues.
paying his dues. Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real.
Good things come when you pay your dues. Good things gonna fall his way. It's gonna fall, and that's the humbleness that this kid is taking. And you know something? You don't think that the Cowboys organization, his defensive coaches don't understand? And then if we have an injury, we know we can him because he'll go out there when he's not on the field. He gives it all in his body, so we can trust him. And he's building trust with this organization that says, okay, I messed up, but I'm giving you everything and every opportunity that I'm getting. And that's great. And that's a maturity thing he's getting. And he's going to pay dividends. That's going to pay dividends for him.
Oh, Mickey said we got to take a light break. That mean they doing us bad. Hey, y'all, listen. Don't do your boy Boss Amp and Coach Marv bad. Listen, y'all. We gonna take us a quick break, man. Stop and hit that like. And listen, I do the same thing. I really do. I was bigging up Candid channel and didn't subscribe like a big dummy. You know what I'm saying? It happens, y'all. So as y'all sitting back enjoying the content, let's just take a quick second to hit that like and take also a second to share it. Share it to your Twitter. Share it to your favorite Facebook group. Share it to some of your Cowboy friends who don't really know how to debate the value of Cooper Rush versus Dak. And you know we already did that. Share it to them. So share it to people that you know go benefit from this post-game review. And like always, I'm pretty sure by now y'all starting to get them likes up because y'all always do when I remind y'all. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I appreciate you, Mickey, pushing us to take that like break. So we should be back caught up right now. And so let me talk about, I'm not going to say who my star players or players of the game are right now because I still got to sleep on it. But Dorrance Armstrong, Michael Parsons, and Brent are mine so far. Okay. Now, I think the person who made the best case was Amp. You made a hellified case for Armstrong on why he should be player of the game because I said last week one of the keys to us winning was going to be for this game we needed to score on defense. And he opened that door. He also opened up the special team block, giving us a short field and putting the entire Rams in a place to where they was going to have to throw the ball to get back in it, which opened up the pass rush. So many dominoes fell in place because of Dorrance Armstrong.
Yes, sir.
It's super hard not to give it to him. But this is why I'm thinking about Brent. And I'm also thinking about Parsons, right? Let me tell you why I'm thinking about them too. Because there are certain jobs that when you're doing them well, you don't get enough recognition. Or it's sometimes when you a freak and you too good, when you do freakish stuff, people just begin to overlook it because they're used to you being a freak. You know what I mean? So I'm going to sleep on this. Because right now, if I made up my mind today, it would be Dorrance Armstrong. But how do we not consider Brent as a potential star player or player of the game when we all now sit back and are very cool and relaxed when he's kicking? And it don't matter. It don't matter where he kicking it from. We just be cool. And when was the last time we felt that? And remember, this dude got enough leg to kick it over 60 yards. He kicking it not only accurate, it's down the middle and with a whole lot of room to spare. And then Michael Parsons, just how many dominoes fall into place because of him. And then I heard somebody say in the chat, and I can feel this, and I think his name should be mentioned in the conversation because his average was so crazy. Pollard. I think we can put Pollard in the conversation. Another person that I think, because what was Pollard average? Amp?
Tony Pollard today quietly gave you 10.8 a carry.
Jesus. Woo! 10.8 a carry. And it's another guy I don't want to forget, because you can't talk about that Pollard run without talking about the guy who sprung him.
Yes, sir.
Maybe not player of the game, but man, McGovern, that key block was also on the go.
Boss,
He
let's be honest.
that key
Let's be honest.
that key block that sprung Pollard was on Aaron Donald
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
this guy one-on-one. So I gotta sleep on it. I ain't ready to decide, but I'll be able to say it by tomorrow.
Boss, let's be honest. When we found out that news earlier in the week that Jason Peters was going down, we all held our breath for a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
You know, we might
I
not have
did.
been shaken. We might not have been shaken and completely rattled, you know, but we were just wondering, hey, how is this going to affect us going forward, knowing that you got big number 99 on the other side? I mean,
Right.
just being completely honest. And, you know, kudos to those guys on the left side. You know, Tyler Smith got basically what you want to call,
Cook.
you know, a couple of life lessons today, playing against a real seasoned vet in the league, arguably the best D lineman in the league. And you know, he got worked a couple times, you know, but guess what? He is going to go on Monday or Tuesday, and he's going to look at that tape, and he's going to see the things that he should have done. And all he's going to do at this point is get better. Because guess what? We can clap it up for him because he was not a liability. We were not crippled because of his gameplay.
That's right.
So, you know, yeah, you got worked by a seasoned vet. Who wouldn't in that situation? But I just appreciate Tyler Smith for not being Chaz Green 2.0. He was out there by himself. We weren't chipping. We weren't helping. You know, we just let him, hey, he going to sink or float. And for the most part today, he floated. He floated.
Yeah,
Well, you know, I want to say something about the when you spoke about Tony Pollard, and it goes back to the key stats that I had to put up there for the offense as well. Tony Pollard needs if you look down there where you see where it says Tony Pollard number 7, 18 to 15 touches, right? So you want to get in that category, and listen. I'm not saying taking carries away from Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott is getting his yards. Tony Pollard is a home run hitter, so you still want to give him his carries. I think around 8 carries or 9 carries in the game for Tony Pollard. You may get some big runs. You may get a lot of yards per carry. His average is high because he had a 50-yard touchdown run. So you're going to get that big average when he has a home run. But and this is not being negative, people, but it's a thing that we need to focus on. Tony Pollard needs to be in the passing game and catching balls out the backfield. This is a thing that we utilize to get our quarterback completions, get yak yards, and to be able to get him more touches where he's in space to make even big. We are still underutilizing Tony Pollard, not in the run game, but in the passing game. And I'm not talking about the slot.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about going
just
out the
dumping
backfield.
it off to him in space.
Thank you. He can catch the ball. If you say you bring him out in the flat, he comes out of the backfield, he goes to the flat, he catches the ball. He could be a nightmare for defenses. This will open up the room for Lamb. This will open up room for Gallup. You don't have to put him in the slot. Just throw the ball to him out the backfield, and he would dominate the game in that aspect. You gotta be able to use our running backs in the passing game, and I keep going back to I think we you know, they talk about Coach Ego, but he's an old school man. When Emmitt Smith retired, he was the fourth lead receiver in the whole Dallas Cowboy history.
Yeah,
Do y'all understand that?
Yeah.
He was the fourth lead receiver in Cowboys history when he retired. So how many catches he had?
Yeah.
Listen, when you got great guys that can break tackles, if you give them the ball, so let's say we give Tony Pollard at least 5 or 6 catches in the passing game, and then give him another 9 carries. Now we up to that 15 to 16. And I guarantee if you give him that many touches, you're going to get about 4 or 5 explosive plays from him.
Right.
But we just limited his explosive plays, and then I don't want the Cowboy fans to say, well, now he be the featured running back. If you put him as featured running back, you're going to get less explosive plays from him because he's not an every down back. He has never been that. He's a Swift Army knife. He needs the ball. Running the ball, he'll get you some explosive plays. You give him 3 or 4 runs in a row. He's going to get some tough yards, and then you fake him and give him a pass in the flat, and then he's going to turn up and get you another 12 or 20 yards. Let's get his touches up, and that will help the passing game. This is what's crazy with me. If Kellen Moore want to pass the ball so much, why is he not utilizing the guys that he can get passes off to, and he can have passes, and they can make creative plays and explosive yards? Tony Pollard needs to have between 15 to 18 touches a game. That means running, passing, and return yards. So 9 carries, another 6 catches. He should get that every game.
Yeah, Coach. Keep talking about that for a second, because I'm gonna pull up some film on what you're talking about. All right, because I want to show it. Because I see exactly what you're talking about, but I need you to stall for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Even if you say the same thing twice. I'm dead serious too, because I need time to pull this. I need to find it. But go ahead, say it again. Shit. Or Elp, what's your thoughts on what he was talking about in terms of the usage of Pollard?
I totally agree. He couldn't be more right. Tony Pollard is one of those guys who, we saw the big run, and I don't want the fans to take that and, no pun intended, run with it, to say that he needs to be the premier back. But what it does show is his shiftiness and how well he moves and operates in space. And what I would challenge Kellen Moore to do, outside of staying true to the run, is create more plays for your skilled players that get them in space. Because once you get them in space, they're shifty enough to get you chunk yardage plays. And that's one thing I want to see our offense improve on, instead of nickel and diming and 2 and 3 yards here and there throughout the course of the game. It helps your offense when you can get 12 here, 15 there, 8 here. And as Coach would say, to stay ahead of the chains. You do that when you get the ball to your skilled players in space. Be creative. You don't have to just continuously run it up the middle just to say you did it and run on first down and pass the next 2 downs, or run on first and second to throw on third down. You can run 3 and 4 times in a row if you're really feeling froggy. And on top of that, I want to see Kellen Moore actually be a play caller. And when I say be a play caller, let your plays build on one another. Do 2 or 3 plays in a row that's going to set you up for play number 4. Do play 5, 6, and 7 that's going to set you up for play 10. You know what I'm saying? Don't just call a bunch of random plays. Oh, we're going to do this over here, do that over there. Build throughout the course of the game. Because when you build and you do things strategically that way, no longer are you aggressively taking what the defense gives you. You are aggressively taking what you want at that point. And that's what separates the okay offenses from the great offenses, and even further, playoff and Super Bowl offenses.
So check this out.
Yeah,
I got the I got the film. All right, because I want to give an illustration of what Coach is talking about. Because the problem with this next thing that we're talking about, this is a very hard thing to see. Because what'll happen is we'll say, well, at least Kellen is running the ball because we'll look at the attempts, right? But if we just look at the attempts now and we don't notice that Kellen Moore is not being creative on his ability to get his two best guys the ball, then yes, we winning games, but we are not winning games as good as we should, nor are we preparing for bigger opponents like we should. So that's why we got to get into the nitty gritty and talk about some of this stuff, because yes, we won the game. To a whole lot of Cowboy fans, that mean don't say anything, don't criticize anything, just be happy. Well, that's how you fan. I don't fan like that. So here we go. So this is a basic leak out right here, and this is a concept that you can look at it from Bell when he was playing with Pittsburgh. So with the quick delivery, this is what they used to do with Emmitt Smith a lot, where they used to intentionally get him the ball in the passing game, and it was intentional, and that was to create space. Now notice, this is a design leak out. This is a design leak out because the first thing that Ben does is he pretends to throw the ball left to get the linebackers not to bite down on Bell. So watch what he does. Watch the first thing that Ben does. He's gonna pump fake, and then he go intentionally go out the Bell, leaving them space to work. And that was something that they did continuous, not just to the Dallas Cowboys, but on everybody. So when Coach Marv is talking about actually using Pollard's hands, this is what he's talking about. You know, this is exactly what he's talking about. Design ways to put him in space. Again, this is another design leak out by design by Pittsburgh. And look at the amount of separation, and now try to imagine Pollard with this much space versus an opponent, you know. And there are design looks that the Cowboys could do with Kellen Moore to open up more opportunities for explosiveness with Kellen Moore. So this is why we showing you the concepts. So this is another thing that Coach Marv was talking about, where he's trying to create what Coach Marv is talking about, creating an athlete on a stiff. So this is Bell versus Sean Lee in man coverage. And this is the type of stuff you want to do where they leak them out, right? And they sent the other receivers vertical to create space, right? But
clear it out.
But the wrong thing that Ben did is he actually threw it to the vertical guys. If he would have threw it to Bell, like Coach Marv always say, he would have hit his head on the goalpost. Because look at that space. Now just try to imagine Pollard with that much space by design.
You gonna miss.
Yeah, I mean, Pollard going against a linebacker, dragging across the field with 20 yards of space because you sent your other receivers vertical, bruh. You know, and so this is another look at it. So it's a one thing for Coach Marv to say it, it's another thing for you to see it. So we showing you by video where you can see the advantage that Kellen Moore is not taking advantage of. But other teams, when they had the right athlete, they did it, and they did it often. So if you got an athlete like a Bell, which is like the current Zeke in terms of his new agility, and see, the problem with this is he had no space to work. Why? Because it took him too long to get him the ball. So obviously the Cowboys rallied on it. But when you look at this next play of what Coach Marv is talking about, where they deliver the ball in short space, right? It allows your better athletes like a Pollard, like a Zeke. Now he got him the ball early. He has the space to work, and what does he do? He make Will Cox miss, and he's doing damage. You know what I mean? You don't see this type of play calling from Kellen Moore with his running backs. What you're seeing from Kellen Moore in his play calling is crashing Zeke and Pollard up the middle and calling it a fair attempt at using them properly. And I'm just being honest, it is not. Because even if you looked at how Tony Pollard was used at Memphis, so I'm showing you even at Memphis they used him like what Coach was talking about. Out the backfield, intentionally leaking it out to him, throwing it to him in space and letting him work. These are the exact looks that Coach Marv is talking about, and this is why common sense created the concept of Kellen run outside the box. In other words, stop doing the same old with the run game, but selling it to us like you being creative and you not.
Facts.
So yeah, did y'all have anything on that?
Yeah. Let me piggyback on that, boss. And I'm gonna tell the fans. I know the fans out there watch every game, right? The first play of last game, they leaked Zeke out of the sideline. He caught the ball and went 31 yards. 31 yards. That's Zeke. When y'all talk about that's what Zeke went 31 yards. If you do that 3 or 4 times with Pollard and Zeke, I guarantee you, people, we will make defense fear us. And you know who would benefit? Just like when you show Le'Veon Bell doing that leaking out, know who benefited from that?
Ben?
Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could not you had to give Antonio Brown a little more space because you had that guy there. If he catch it on the wrong guy, he's going to be gone. So you got that's what Ant was talking about play calling. No, Amp, I don't want him to be a play caller. That's about being a coordinator. Coordinating your players' ability to each other out and stress the defense to say, man, which way we going to stop? We going to stop Tony Pollard out here and get around people, put a lot of people around him, or Zeke out here in the flat, or we going to play this undercoverage on CeeDee Lamb because we worry about CeeDee Lamb. Now I have to make choices. I have to make choices not only with my calls, I have to make choices with my personnel. Because if I get a stiff out there with Tony Pollard, he's going to bump his head against the goalpost. Now they make them change personnel package because every time he's in the game in a passing down, he's going to check the first for the block. And if he don't have nobody to block, he may fake like he's going to block, and I get the ball to him in the flat red. Now he's in open field like a kick returner, and he's going to make plays for us. He needs that 5 to 6. We should have at least 7 catches like that for our quarterbacks every game to be. And listen, that's almost like run plays. It's just a long handoff.
Right. See, that's the thing right there, Coach. That's the thing. See, Kellen, and this is the sad part. Didn't Mike McCarthy tell Kellen Moore? He told him straight up. He said, "Bro, I don't care how you do it." He told him straight up, "You don't just have to run it. I just want Zeke and Pollard to combine for 30 touches."
Yep. Boss, can I say this?
Yeah.
Somebody once told me, it ain't what you do, but it's how you do it. And based off of what Coach said and based off of the diagram that you showed us on the film, what we have here is like a lot of what you see in basketball today, courtesy of Steph Curry. See, a lot of players and coaches have fallen in love with the run. Have fallen in love with the 3. And what you have here is Kellen Moore has fallen in love with the pass.
Yep.
But me personally, instead of throwing up a bunch of 3s and bricking a lot of them, what I rather see is what you all just showed, taking a high percentage shot, the higher percentage shot. Leak outs here, a screen there. Because guess what? At the end of the day, just like in the NBA, those 2s add up. You can win by shooting 2s. You ain't got to shoot 3s. You shoot 2s and play good defense. You run the ball, you throw short passes and play good defense. at the end of the day, you still have a chance to win. So I want Kellen Moore to not fall in love with the three ball, aka the deep ball, and go with the more intermediate to short stuff. Putting your guys in space and letting them win.
He can if he attacked the middle of the field. But listen here.
Yep.
I watch tape, and all of us watch tape. Boss, he watch tape. Everybody watch tape. If this offense is about aggressively taking what the defense gives you, I would tell everybody out there listening, if you
aggressively
watch the
take that middle.
If you watch, no, I ain't going to the middle part yet. That's another thing. But if you watch the Cowboys film from this year, every year that Kellen Moore been coordinator, you will see every play when our backs leak out on the flat. They got room for days.
Yep.
There's only one guy dedicated out there to stop a Zeke or Tony Pollard. And guess what, fellas? I would take that chance 80% of the time that my man gonna break that tackle.
Right.
Because if he do, it's over.
Right. And see, and I just showed y'all with the Pittsburgh tape that teams do this by design. You know what I mean? It's not by accident. Teams do this by design. Exactly what Coach Marv is. Yeah, it's more than one way than just zone right, zone left. You know? And if you watch closely, Kellen Moore is all zone right, zone left. And he doing it with both Pollard and Zeke.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He doing it. But if you look around the league, it's other teams, they by design leak the ball. And it's and they feature these plays for their best guys when it so happen to be sometimes their running backs when they can catch. Pollard can catch. Zeke can catch. Zeke put in a whole lot of work on agility, which will make him like Bell. If you think about it and if you're creative enough, because Bell didn't have speed. Bell never had speed, but the danger of Bell was when he was in space, he was going to be able to make you miss. So a good OC would create those scenarios. And we not seeing it. And this is the deal. Like, a lot of people won't understand that right now we are happy with the win. But none of us should be happy with the last 27 years. So yeah, I'm happy for the one win, but I'm mad about what's been going on for 27 years. That's why we're greedy on this channel by focusing on, yes, we won, but I don't want to take a win by 12 when we should have won this one by 30. Like, which one would have been a better statement? That we beat the ex-champs or we beat the ex-champs by 30 with a backup? Which one would have sent the message to who we are and what we can do and what we likely getting ready to do? So that so what's y'all final words, man?
I want to say this one thing, and I'm gonna leave this, and I think the Cowboy fans will understand it because I want them to understand. I know the word is. I know a lot of them think about, oh yeah, well we can use Tony Pollard in the slot. No. Putting him in the slot, that already puts defense to focus on him. When you send a guy, when a guy comes out the backfield, you don't have a zone coverage from him. It's one guy that's dedicated to that zone where he goes out and he got him one-on-one. So most likely it's a linebacker that you got out there on a Tony Pollard or a Zeke. If you do roll up the safety or the corner comes down and cover two because he's out there, you got Ezekiel Elliott out there on the cornerback. He don't want that tackle. I can tell you right now, he don't want that tackle.
He don't want that tackle.
Not all day long.
Not all day long.
And what it does is, when you start doing that, it's a guaranteed 5 to 6 yards every time you do it, and it could be potentially bigger than that. It takes the pressure off the rest of your passing game, and it opens it up, and it gives you completions. And when you get completions, that moves the sticks, that gives you time possession. It all works good for you. But we do not give our running backs enough touches in the passing game with just simple passes. And I know some people gonna talk about the screen pass. Now we ain't gotta worry about, you ain't gotta do a screen pass. Just leak them out, get the ball to them in the flat or in the middle of the field. Because I would say this, boss, The tight end has been top of this offense. We're not getting the catches from the tight end position. So if we want to move the completions up, who we're going to replace it with? Let's replace the production with the running backs.
Common Sense Lab said, does Skip Pete get some of the blame?
It's not it's not designing an offense. It's
Right.
not a focus of the offense.
Yeah, so Skip, yeah, exactly. So no, Skip Pete don't get none of the blame because Skip Pete ain't designing this. This goes to the designer of the offense. The person that designed this offense is Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So what's
He
your final
installed it
words?
like my father said. If he installed it,
He called it.
he called it.
Call it. Legally.
And he
And
only
what
said that about 3 people: Fossil, Quinn, and Moore. He say those are the people who responsible for the play calls. So when we seeing the lack of creativity in our running game, because yes, I do like that we won, but like Coach said, what safety or corner want to go against Zeke or Pollard in the flats?
You don't want it.
They don't
You
want
don't want
that.
it.
They might
don't
make the first tackle, but on the second one, they go dodge it.
You talking to a
that's
former
the thing.
linebacker, and I didn't want it either. Those are the tackles I hated making the most. One of the things that I said that we should do, yeah. And you know, if you
And
mess
you miss
up,
it, it's
it's
over.
gonna be a big boo boo. It ain't no small boo boo. You know, it's gonna be messy and runny and all over the place. But one of the things that I wanted us to focus on for our defense this game, because of the skilled players that the Rams offense had, getting in space and bottling them up before they get loose is one of the things that I want our offense to in turn capitalize on. Getting it to them in space, because guess what? Those space tackles are a heck of a lot harder to make than trying to catch somebody. You know, if I can, slither in between the tackle and the guard, or the center and the guard, and step into a gap and fill, that's easy, because guess what? You ain't got nowhere to go. But when you on an island and you moving and you trying to hit a moving target, that's way harder than stepping in between them gaps and filling them.
That's a staple of the West Coast offense, throwing to the running backs in the flat.
And
Roger
Kellen Moore
Craig,
does not do it. He does not do it.
Waters, even your team over at Green Bay, they make sure Aaron Jones may not get 30 carries, but he getting 15 touches because he getting 5 or 6 catches where he can break tackles and make plays.
Right.
If you got great players, you put the ball in their hands any means necessary. And that's all we asking for. That's it.
So real quick, what's your final words? I know we didn't talk about Anthony Barr. He was the leading tackle. I got to go watch more film on it, though. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to even talk about him being a potential player of the game, even though he led the defensive tackles. I got to really go watch that film before I give that.
Absolutely.
But shout out to him, though, for leading the team in tackles, because the media was on his head. Because I noticed the media, they so damn biased. I don't know where they suck up the LV. They was talking about on the local radio stations that the person that they should be targeting to try to get 3 safeties on the field is taking off Anthony Barr and leaving on LVE. I'm like, boy, you boys are crazy.
Oh no, boss. At that point he was, but guess what? Diggs actually ended up edging him out for total tackles.
Gotcha.
But
I'm with you on that, and I appreciate that. But what I was saying is, like, I see the bias that be going on, and it just get on my nerves. They protect certain players. It is almost like, and I said this on Twitter, it's like, you ever notice that people was real open for Peters to play guard, even though he didn't play guard, but they was fighting tooth and nail Lael to play guard, even though he played guard?
I remember when you made that point. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Ain't none.
Right, it ain't none.
Ain't none.
But see, but they
just
wanted
like
to protect Lael, though. See, people wanted to protect Lael. The local media, if you would listen to the local media, they was trying to protect him, bro. They was trying to protect him. So if you said, hey, man, Lael will be a better asset to this team because Steele playing better, let's protect Steele play by trying to at least get something Lael by moving him to left guard and ramping him up. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, why would y'all do that? Boss, this not musical chairs. This not Madden. Oh, see, you crazy even though you played a lot. It was all of that. But then when Peters got moved, it was crickets. It don't make no sense. So you can't be open for it over here but hate it over there. You can't. But the same thing going on with linebacker right now, and it's annoying. Like, it's annoying. Like, you listen, if you really trying to really watch film and do a real comparison, there's no comparison right now with LVE and Barr. There's not.
No, zero.
You know, it's just what it is. So, and then it don't make no sense for you to even bring back Luke and then make Harper. You don't even allow Harper to suit up.
Facts.
Like, when y'all start protecting your older players, when you got younger, cheaper, faster, who does that? So anyway, what's y'all final words? I've been asking y'all that for the last 20 minutes. I know y'all been doing this shit.
I'll give my final words first, Amp. Man, listen, I know a lot of Cowboy fans out there will say, but listen, man, when I get off this live stream, I'm going to celebrate because we got a victory. I can be able to talk trash. I'll be able to go on my little trip to celebrate my chapter's 50th anniversary at my college, my homecoming this weekend. But I'll be back on Sunday. I'll be on the live stream for the Sunday night football game. But
I hear you.
But man, listen. And I'm gonna wear my hat down to homecoming or run the damn ball. And everybody out, know that that's what it's about, because they know it's a Cowboy hat, because the mantra is all over the country. And we're just trying to give opinions about where we see in star guys and how they can open up and be even better. But let me tell you something, Cowboy fans. I want us to do the same thing that the media in LA is doing right now. Even though their players are not playing well, they're gonna be critical, but they're gonna protect their guys, because they know their guys gonna come along. They're gonna be critical, but they're not gonna be talking about how they need to get rid of them, or they need what contract they need to get. Are we gonna re-sign them? We're not worried about re-signing nobody next year, 2 years down the line. We worried about we've seen in the moment, and at the moment we are a 4-game winning streak with a quarterback that's a backup quarterback that's throwing 62% of his passes, and he's not thrown over 250 yards in 4 games. And we are winning big time games. We have beat both of the Super Bowl teams last year, and we just won a game on the road when a team that's supposed to have been mad because they lost the week before. And we beat them the exact same way they got beat week before. That is an accomplishment. We just building to get better. And when we get our quarterback back, and we get our team back to rolling, and we find our identity on offense and believe in that identity, because right now I don't think we really believe in it as a coaching staff, right? But when we believe in it, like we believe in our identity of our defense, we're going to be rocking and rolling. So we love the Cowboys. Amp, Boss Cowboy, and Coach Mar, we love the Cowboys. We're going to celebrate this victory, and we're going to talk much smack, because we waiting on these Eagles next Sunday night, baby. All the talk. Y'all talking about how great y'all are, but it's still the fact we beat you about 50 points last year, and we beat you about 50 again come Sunday night. So that's just how it is,
Say
man.
that, Coach. Say that.
Hey, we 4-1. Tell me how many teams in this league that's 4-1 with a 4-game winning streak with their backup quarterback. So when you hear all these pundits out here talk about this team, that team, all those teams playing with their main quarterback.
Facts.
We got a backup quarterback that's not throwing lights out.
He throwing.
And we still 4-1.
That's what he throwing. Go ahead, El.
Look here. I don't care how ugly, how funny, how crazy, how insufficient this W may look, at the end of the day, it is still a W. We
Yes.
won. We have won 4 in a row. And despite the fact prior to the season, how you thought our win should have looked, Dak ain't here. Coop ain't here. Cedric ain't here. Couple other people ain't here. And guess what? We are still winning. Okay? You look at your offensive coordinator and the missed opportunities, the failure of commitment to the run, and we still pulling off W's. My little glimmer of hope for the fans going forward this season is we ain't even all the way efficient yet.
Right.
We are very far from peaking.
Right.
And we got 4 wins to 1 loss. Imagine what happens when we get a little bit more healthy. When guys start coming back. That depth gets a little bit stronger. The rotation gets a little bit longer. The chemistry comes together a little bit better. When all of that happens, what is our team going to look like then? I'm giving you a little bit of hope. Boss Cowboy said at the beginning of the season, this is a season for optimism. And there it is.
There it is. So, yeah. So, my final words is fantastic win. It feels good to be 4-1. I would also say, you can fan how you want to fan, but I'll tell you this, in my opinion, don't let your foot off the gas. We need to keep the pressure up. Because, see, Coach Moore said something that's just honest. Wins are the cologne to stinky booties.
Woo.
You know what I'm saying? So you still got to take a shot. You got the cologne, but there are certain things that need to be cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? And we got to clean up some things. But still, the world got to respect the fact that we knocked off the last 2 people that appeared in the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback.
Thanks.
I'm proud of Cooper Rush. I think it's going to only help him. He did complete a couple of throws outside the numbers. So even though his numbers was bad, I saw improvement in his game. You know what I'm saying?
And his decision making.
His decision makers was okay. You know what I'm saying? And we got some people coming back, you know, and I'm excited about it. Gallup looking good. And you know he not at 100%. So the more the season progresses, the better he's going to be. I'm just happy that we ain't got to rush Dak. Because guess what we'd be doing if we wasn't winning? We would be trying to throw Dak out there right now. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I even want to see Dak versus Philly. I'm being all the way honest. I don't want to see Dak until Dak is ready to give us 100%. I don't want 90% Dak. I don't. Keep that Dak. Because guess what we go do? If Dak try to make the sacrifice to play injured, because he think he gonna make us a little bit better, we not gonna appreciate it anyway. Because what did we do?
We gonna crucify him.
Yeah. What did we do when in 2018? It was 2019. What did we do in 2019 when he had that fractured finger and that hurt shoulder? When it was the first time he missed practice. He couldn't beat backups from Philly. He couldn't beat practice squad players.
We're paying them too much money.
Anybody mention the fractured finger and the shoulder? No, they didn't mention that. So I don't want to see Dak. I don't want to see Dak until Dak is ready. Because I know when Dak come back ready, Dak go bob. I don't care what nobody say. Now, the major thing that we got to keep our pressure up on, honestly, and I'm being honest with you, y'all, is Kellen. He the main person we got to keep our eye on. Because Coach Moore gave him a prophetic warning. Listen, y'all. Listen to this warning. Listen. I'm sounding the alarm for you. Because, see, I listen well. Coach Marv let out a prophetic warning that if you weren't paying attention, it went over your head. But I want you to listen. This is what Coach Marv said, and it's factual. If Kellen Moore is pass happy with backup quarterbacks, what is he gonna be with a franchise quarterback?
Yep.
See, that was the low-key statement of the day. That was the low-key statement of the entire day. And that's why we got to keep our eyes on him. It's not even good enough to say he running the ball. I'm not happy that you running the ball when you're not being creative with it. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It's
Do
like,
that when you got your number one in there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's that. I call that here it is booty. None of us like that. None of us like it. You don't like it, ma'am. We don't like it either. When your man up there squeezing up on you and y'all in the bed and you tired and you don't feel like it, so you just put on your pants and you put your booty out and say, here it is. No, we don't want it like that. Pull your pants back up and go to sleep. I don't want it like that. Here it is. You gonna just poke it out like I just want, like I don't want no.
I need you to be an active participant.
I need you active. I need you to actively run the ball like you mean it. I need you to actually put some thought into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we not seeing that with Kellen. Like all the stuff that we talked about, is that we wanted to see out of Kellen, we didn't see. We saw one counter trap. One. We saw one lead toss. One. We saw no jet sweeps. None. We saw a couple of screens. That's here it is booty. That, oh, y'all want me to run the ball? Here, I ran the ball. Shut up. That's what he doing to us, and we can't let him do that because see, it didn't catch up yet, but it could catch up in February, in January, where we trying to win, and they the biggest, toughest, smartest opponents. Don't let that dude give us that here it is booty. That's my final words. And yeah, let me say this too, man. I appreciate everybody, man. Y'all also continue to support Boss Cowboy with the cash and the cash apps. I appreciate that. For those who do that, we appreciate all the super chats. And y'all remember, we gonna always try to give y'all what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. But it's Boss Cowboy Sports with Amp and Coach Marv, where your voice matters. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Good win, fellas. And good shows, man. I enjoyed it.
Great show, baby.
Man.
Boss Cowboy Sports.
Fans are loving it, man.
Where your voice
let's
matters.
get it, man. We got a lot of content coming, man. The OC, he couldn't make it today, so he'll be dropping his video in the morning. Y'all be on the lookout for that. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for all the content. And as y'all can see, man, this panel is getting better and better. I love the chemistry. I love the chemistry with Amp and Coach Marv. I love it, man. So we gonna keep rocking, man, and y'all just stay up.
Philly week.
It's Philly week. Man, it's another team. I don't even want to, man, I don't care about that.
Boss Cowboy
Just another team. Just another team on schedule. I swear to God, I mean that. I don't want to get them to no praise. Matter of fact, I'm going to set up something.
I live to bust their ass.
Let's get